for his nobility, his loyalty, his honesty, his peace-loving nature, all of that. He connected, everybody loved him before he was a prophet. And they said, we all agree to him. He says, "Ya Muhammad, what do you say?" Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, "I say that I take off my cloak and each one of you grab a section and you all carry the stone to the corner. And that way, no one can feel superiority over another. You all had equal share. And then I will take the rock off with my hands and put it in." And that's exactly. And they all said with one voice, if it was any other man, they go, "We slept and we were all thinking." These were the leaders. They said, "We slept thinking, what are we going to do tomorrow? We don't care who comes in. If he chooses any other tribe, we're going to have a war over it." But when you came in, we all thought, if it was any other man, we would have had a battle over it. But because of you, we all agreed. So he was known, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for his honesty and loyalty, even before that. That's why Allah gave him the Quran after 40 years of his life. People had to know him, so they have no excuse. Until today, alhamdulillah, even the greatest enemies of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam cannot say about anything about him, at least before his prophethood, even after his prophethood, but they falsify things. But before his prophethood, they all admit to his honesty, integrity, loyalty, and so on. And this was the same man whom Allah had prepared as a prophet. So what did he say to Aisha after that? He said to her, "Don't you know that when your people built the Kaaba, they shortened it from the foundation of Ibrahim alayhi salam? So I said," Aisha says, "then why do you not return it to its original foundation of Ibrahim?" The Prophet ﷺ answered, "Were it not for their sentiment attached to the tradition of kufr until recently, I would have changed it." Meaning, the people of Quraysh, they've got sentimental value to this Kaaba and it's attached to their disbelief. Before. It's got traditions of their ancestors. So if I touch it, they'll probably say that I've done something wrong. They'll go to war about it. So I left it to avoid fitna, to avoid mischief. Then what happens was, he said, if it wasn't for them, I would have returned it to the way it was. There was a companion by the name of Abdullah ibn Zubayr. And Abdullah ibn Zubayr, he had a rule. He had a rule for a little while. Abdullah ibn Zubayr, after the death of the Prophet, after the Khulafa, after the 4 Khulafa, later on, he lived on. And in his time of rule, according to what the Prophet ﷺ said, Abdullah ibn Zubayr rebuilt the Kaaba. He wanted to rebuild the Kaaba. He wanted to rebuild the Kaaba the original way, as a rectangle. And what happened was, he couldn't do that. And he was killed in the year 73 of Hijrah by Al-Hajjaj, who was a commander of the Umayyad Khalifa. And the Khalifa was Abdul Malik ibn Marwan. And he wrote to Abdul Malik ibn Marwan that he wanted to build the Kaaba in its original form. And he went and did it. Abdullah ibn Zubayr, he went and did it. But they thought that Abdullah ibn Zubayr built the Kaaba that way according to his own choice. They didn't even know about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So they ordered for it to be demolished and built as a cube. After the death, the murder of Abdullah ibn Zubayr by Al-Hajjaj, this commander, the Khalifa realized that it was actually a hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, that the Kaaba, the Prophet ﷺ was going to make into a rectangle. So he regretted it. But the Kaaba stayed as a cube until, for years, until the Khalifa who came after, who was called the Khalifa al-Mahd, Mahdi ibn Mansur, he wanted to rebuild the Kaaba as a rectangular. And in that time was Imam Malik, rahmatullah alayh, the great scholar, the known scholar Imam Malik of the Maliki madhab. And this Khalifa asked Imam Malik, should I rebuild the Kaaba as a rectangle as the Prophet ﷺ intended to do so? But Imam Malik said to him, I fear that kings may start playing around with it. Whenever a new king comes, he may build it as he wanted. And the other one demolishes it, and the other one comes up. I don't want it to turn into a game. And that was known by the kings and the khulafa coming and playing around, one in glory and the other one destroying it for glory, and so on. And so it remained as a cube until today, as you see it. Not changed, khalas, it's a doubtful area. They thought, that's it, just leave it as it is. There's no harm, inshallah, in doing so long as we all know that it's the rectangle. So this is, all of this why? All of this out of the status of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He's not a normal man. Ibrahim alayhi salam is the father of the Anbiya, of the prophets. And Allah praises him in the Quran in several ways. He says, وَإِبْرَاهِيمَ الَّذِي وَفَّى. Ibrahim, the one who fulfilled all of his duties. He never looked at something minor and said, it's all right,